Guys, welcome to our channel. This is Django Coder. In our last video, we talked about top-level statements and the C# syntax. In this video, we're going to use the implementation of a simple console shopping cart to explain some basic C# concepts. Let's take a look at an online store to remember how an online shopping cart works. Let's go to Amazon, for example, and type Nike. There are usually items on display, different Nike products. We select one. Then there is an option to add it to cart. You can also view your cart, remove items from cart, save for later, and then you can check out, which will empty out your cart. We're going to implement something similar, but it will be displayed on our terminal or console window instead. When we start the MVC course, then we can implement the shopping cart to display an interactive web application. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on all that fun. Back to the editor. So this is how I like to organize my code. I start by writing comments on what I intend to do, kind of like a pseudocode. Then I fill in each part as I go. So we need to define the variables and types we'll need for our shopping cart. And this is where we'll talk about C# data types. Next, we'll display the items to the console window for the user to select which ones they want to add to their cart. And here, we'll be talking about C# input and output. And then we move on to processing of the user input, where we will make use of operators, loops, conditional statements, methods, and collections like array lists, arrays, lists, etc. After this, we're going to go into object-oriented programming, where we will organize our code using classes and objects. Okay, so to get started, let's talk about data types. C# has the following data types. It has an int, which is 4 bytes in size, and it's used to store whole numbers. The long is 8 bytes in size. It stores numbers. It stores whole numbers, but a much larger whole number than the int. The float is 4 bytes in size, and it stores fractional numbers, okay, 6 to 7 decimal digits. The double, 8 bytes in size, also stores fractional numbers, but longer than the float, which is 15 decimal digits, whereas the float is 6 to 7. The bool is 1 bit in size. It's the smallest, and it stores true or false values only. The char is 2 bytes in size. It stores a single character, and it's surrounded by single quotes. The string is 2 bytes per character, okay? It stores a sequence of characters like words, sentences, spaces, special characters. All of those make up the string, and they are surrounded by double quotes, okay? All right, so what variables are we going to need for our shopping cart? We can have string item name. We can have int quantity. We will also need a variable to store whether an item is available or not, which we will call Boolean item available. We're going to need double price. We don't have to declare all of them now. We'll add more as needed. Next, let's give these variables some values. Let's say our store has only one item at the moment, which we're going to display on the screen for interested buyers to add to their carts. We have string item name equal to Nike, for example. Int quantity equals, let's say we have 10 Nikes in stock. Boolean item available equal to true. Double price equal to 20.0. You can see the difference between our int and our double. Int is a whole number, while the double is a decimal number, because prices are not whole numbers, right? Prices has the main part, and the cents part or whatever your currency deals in. Here, we have the whole and the decimal parts. So you have to put it in a double or a float. Double is more preferable. Floats are kind of weird. I don't deal with floats, I just use doubles. Same way I don't deal with longs, I just prefer to go with ints. They're easier to deal with. Okay, so you can see the difference between the string and the bool as well. The bool is not a string. The true or false value that is in the bool is not a string, okay? It's just true or false. Those are standard words. They are not strings. I don't know how to explain that. But the string it can be anything, all right? It can be Nike, it can be Adidas, it can be whatever you want to name your item. Okay, next let's print this item to the console. But first, let's print an introductory message like console.writeLine. Hi, new user. You are welcome to Django Stores. Please select any of the following items to add to your cart. Click Run, and let's see what happens. We can see our string is displayed on our console window. Notice that nothing else in our text editor is displayed. If you want anything to be displayed, you have to put it in a console.writeLine statement. If you don't have console.writeLine within anything on your screen, it's not going to get displayed in a console window. Okay, after that, let's print the item. There are three ways we can print this item in C#. We can print the items one after the other, have console.writeLine, item name, then the next line, we have console.writeLine quantity, then the next line we have console.writeLine price. Okay, we want to print the quantity name, the quantity, and the price. The Boolean variable will be used later when we talk about conditional statements. Click Run, and we see them printing out one after the other. Okay. We can also print the item in a single line, right? By concatenation, we write console.writeLine item name plus space plus quantity plus space plus price, and then click Run. The items get printed on a single line. Or we can also use something called string interpolation. Okay, string interpolation is a feature in C# that allows you to embed expressions inside string literals. It's a more readable and concise way to include variables and expressions within a string without the need for explicit concatenation, which was what we did in the last print statement. Interpolation can be done by simply adding a dollar symbol as a prefix, and then we place the expression inside curly braces within the string, okay? And this is how it's going to look like. We can write console.writeLine. We can put it directly in the writeLine statement, and we have the dollar sign, we have the curly braces, item name, another comma, space, because we want to give some space so that it can look nice. Quantity and then price. Click Run. Again, we can create a new variable instead and call it string item name. We can copy the value from the writeLine statement and then replace that with item 1 and click Run. They both give the same result. So you can see we can either use the values directly, or we can declare a variable, assign it a value, and then use the variable name anywhere we want to use that value. This helps your code to be easily scalable and maintainable, right? Okay, that will be all for today. We'll continue with our shopping cart program in our next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.